Hey, what's up? This is your boy KLA, Clyde the Wanderer. Clyde don't go against nature. I'm here with a special guest. Her name is Laura Cash. She's
Going
a
on?
huh?
That it's going on.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just oh sorry. Yeah, this is Laura Cash. She's an NPC competitor. Uh, I know you do trauma. You're a trauma
I do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you do a lot of stuff. So she's going to tell
Yeah.
a story, and you can learn more about her on Instagram and TikTok and other places and on social media. So
Mhm.
welcome, Laura. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing good. Doing good. I can't. No complaints over here. Not at all.
Where you from? If you don't mind me asking.
I am from north of Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, that's where you
Yeah.
from now, or
No, yeah, I grew up around there. I only live like 15 minutes from my childhood home, so
oh, okay,
haven't really. Yeah, I just kind of
oh,
always have stayed around the area.
okay. I'm
It's
from the
nice.
NY.
I live where people vacation, so I don't really complain. I mean, it's like snowing, so it's like the off season right now, but like in general, it's got its, nice, real nice
So it's
parts.
snowing now. It's snow.
Mm, it's like raining and slushy now. It's kind of
Oh,
just
okay.
cold and freezing, so they're salting the roads, so it's just like
Oh, okay.
gross.
How you been dealing with that?
Fine. I mean, it's pretty routine. It's just layer up and survive. That's all.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, try not to complain about it. Drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
It's just Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been nice. We've had some of the like little breaks in the weather with the warmth and stuff, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
When I say warm, I mean like, like 50 to 50 degrees to break it up here and there, or like, so just I'll take it. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm in NYC, and it's some days it's cold, but
It's
it's
similar.
it's
You know what I'm talking
yes
about. It's very
it's odd
similar with
winter. Yes, odd winter. You don't know what spring gonna be like.
no,
So
I have a bag of shoes in my car that's like got sandals, sneakers, like just like a form of like kind of everything to get me by, just in
yeah.
case. I mean, I work outside too because I have a dog walking business. That's like my primary like day to day, and
Yeah.
I just never know, so I try to just stay prepared. That's the way to deal with it is always be prepared, right?
Yeah.
Like
So why
so.
don't you tell the viewers how you got started in bodybuilding or the world of fitness, if you don't mind me?
So I think like fitness in general kind of well, so going like way back when I was like a kid, my mom worked in a gym. She after having six kids got in like really crazy good shape.
Mm,
I think like we have good genetics too, like on both sides of my family, there's like people who are pretty athletic and like, so I was never so athletically inclined. Like I didn't really play sports. I ended up getting a job in high school, but like my mom worked in the gym and like I don't know, like I would go to the gym with her at like 4 or 5 in the morning, but I would do like a ton of cardio. This was like when I was like a 14-year-old kid. I think some of that was just like in part to spend time with my mom, but then in another part of me, like I liked to be active. But then like I liked to eat a lot too. So like as I got just like a little bit older, like, in college and stuff and was like I didn't live in a dorm or anything, but I mean, I definitely like love to chow down. I always love takeout and stuff like that. So into my like mid 20s, I started getting like I never got like overweight, which I think I'm very grateful for because I'm very grateful for my health in that regard. But like my blood pressure and my cholesterol were starting to get kind of high, like in my mid 20s, which I feel like is just pretty avoidable, like in general. So I started getting a little frustrated. I felt like crap. My digestion was horrible. I always just like it just I was not feeling very well. So I started getting a little bit more proactive about it. I actually got into like multi-level marketing and doing like the shakes and stuff like that. But I was actually like successful with it. I made some good money. I operated my business, but I kind of got like my foot in the door a little bit with just some like basic training wheels of like nutrition and like this is protein, this is carbs, like eat every couple of hours. And then like I think I was actually in terms of like multi-level marketing, I think I was actually with like a really good group of people that would they'd kind of like test you to challenge yourself a little bit. I think it like helped your business, but then for like your mentality too. I mean that can also hit really nice. So I got really good with the idea of like, okay, I want to see what I can do. So I started feeling a little better and I started running a lot. And then I was running I was actually running a half marathon the day that my bodybuilding coach and I first made contact. So like I had just made contact with a lot of people on like social media via running my multi-level marketing business. And my coach was somebody I had added just being like a local person in the area. And he was like, I was on like a live stream that day talking about like the law of attraction and was never like a very tiny girl. So like in terms of having like a structure and like for musculature, like I'm never sure why I never thought to even bodybuild or like lift more so because it was always that fear of like I don't want to be manly. So I thought just like running it off would help. But then like my coach was like, invited me to like, hey, do you want to just try a workout, see how you like it, and then had thrown out the idea of doing a show, and I was like, no fucking way, like no way, ew. Um, and then like I kind of sat on the idea a little bit, and I was like, wait, no, like why can't I do a show? Like why wouldn't I? Like I started kind of researching it a little more. I think just like actually Googling it and trying to like figure it out, and I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, granted, like I sucked my first prep on like my behavior and everything was so bad. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but like it literally was just like a random invitation from like a local trainer that like I had been blowing up on social media like, hey, try my shakes. He's like, hey, why don't you try a freaking workout? And like the rest was just history because I've been training with him ever since for the last like 6 years now, like going on our seventh year together. Because I
Yeah.
train year round with him in person. So,
Yeah.
it's really cool process because it's like completely evolved out of just like me being like, I don't want to bodybuild. Like, why would I do that? But here we are.
Yeah. I mean, I could kind of relate to what you were saying earlier about eating and stuff, because I come from a family of big eaters and stuff, and
Yeah, it's like, well, it's like the culture. Like that's how people connect. Like they go
yeah,
out, they eat. Like,
yeah,
um, but yeah, it's just kind of something to do when you're bored too. Shit, you go to
yeah,
the gas station and get a snack, or you go to the what's in the cabinets, what's in the pantry. Like you just go check, especially when you live with your mom when you're like a kid, or if you live with family, or if you're at somebody else's house, you're like, I'm hungry, and you just like hope they're hospitable, and they're like,
yeah.
oh, or
You,
your mom's like, go screw,
you
you
think you
know.
had a gluttony? You think you had a gluttony problem, or you just
No, well, I wouldn't really call it gluttony as much as I had like a full blown like dealing with like bulimia stuff like that. Like
okay,
I had like a true issue with like my relationship with food and
right?
as it related more to like mental health and kind of like anxiety disorder stuff, which I've definitely like done a ton of work around because it's not necessarily ever, especially like huge disclaimer too. It's never to say bodybuilding's not going to fix your relationship with food. Like I personally have sought out like a lot of therapy. I talked to a lot of people. I personally worked in the mental health field for a very long time.
Yeah,
Like I had a lot of resources and support to kind of help me navigate the food piece, but then like what I discovered with bodybuilding was just kind of like the structure and basic food and stuff like that that actually like made me feel better over time. So I kind of like got better via the sport itself a little bit, but more so because I think I worked like side by side with my coach who like was sort of like, you really can't be compliant with a meal plan. It's like,
yeah,
no, but there were big reasons why I couldn't be compliant with certain things. So as I've gone through the sport over the last 6 years, I've had to like really dig in to do some work to even be able to like
yeah.
show up to the gym, do my workouts, diet in a manner where I'm not like, because any like, I mean, you've spoken to a lot of bodybuilders. Like you can't push yourself to the brink without actually supporting yourself in a manner that lets you work to the brink of your body's ability to function
Yeah,
optimally too, because it's like it's that balance. So being determined to sort of stay in balance, I've learned like where I had to improve and get better and get really real with myself. I mean, I'm definitely still not perfect with food, but I've like come a long way. But it came from a place very much of like, you know, seeking food as comfort from like a place of definitely it was my vice. It was my drug. It was like my thing of choice. Like I can vividly remember like stress and I just go for the food. Like that was always my thing. I never touched hard drugs. I would absolutely out eat just about like anybody who was around me, except it was very unhealthy. It was like sick.
Yeah.
It was like sick. I mean, like I can laugh about it because there's times where I'm just like, wow, that was impressive, but expensive than impressive. I mean, food's not even cheap, so I'm
Yeah.
like
You
I'd probably have a house if I didn't have a problem with
you
food.
ever had you ever did like an eating contest or something? It was just a joke. It was just a joke.
No, no, I mean I thought about it, but I'm like I don't even want to
Um,
go there. That's like a
yeah.
little.
I mean,
I
I remember.
prefer to do it in private by myself. Like I was like
Yeah.
just being like,
Yeah. Well, we got some
no.
comments. We got Rolando G. Hello, Laura. I'm here,
Hi,
KLA.
Rolanda. Are there more? Can I see them or are there more? Or is it just Rolanda?
And you have another
Oh,
duel.
Australia. Oh,
Yeah.
good morning. It's like nighttime here. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Guys.
so you ever thought
Yeah,
of
no.
did you ever thought about being a vegetarian or anything like that, or
I
just
actually was at a time in my life. I was
yeah,
for about 2 years when I was like 14 to like 16. I
yeah,
was eating vegetarian. Yeah, I got really into it and it was for more like ethical reasons. I got I mean, I didn't do it properly. Like I was just not I think there's like I don't think there's any wrong way to eat because like half of my family's actually vegan too. So like when I'm
yeah,
not eating for contest, I do enjoy like I love vegan food too. But I mean like my mom, I always joke with her she should just open like a vegan restaurant. She's like a really she's a really good cook. So
yeah.
like whatever she makes just like tastes really good. So I I mean my experience with like vegan and vegetarian food has been like really positive up to date to this
Do you,
point in time. So
do you cook your
I
own
don't like
meals? Like,
yeah, I do now. I do
uh,
now. I didn't for a long time. I'm a huge fan of like meal prep services.
yeah,
The one that I was using just like went out of business locally, but they were really good. I mean, that was like a self-care expense because I was just like, I don't know. I mean, gratefully busy with my business, so I wasn't like having a lot of time, physical time to be in the kitchen cooking because from like morning to night I was occupied with something still productive or just wanted time to relax. And the way to sort of grasp more of that was paying a meal prep service, but not for nothing. It was kind of nice because I would like text them and it was like having a personal chef. I'd be like,
so
can you do this? Can you do
yeah,
this week? And they'd be like, yeah. So it was nice.
so that's your business, like the meal prep.
No, so I don't do that personally. Like I
Oh,
I just like I cook my own food.
okay.
I have some people that like I just make like suggestions to for
Oh,
their
okay.
own personal stuff,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like more in terms of coaching, I do more like life coaching around, I guess just sort of like I don't know, whatever people's personal goals are. I don't like advertise that so much as like it just kind of
Yeah.
comes up in like posing coaching and then some people that like are doing shows.
Yeah.
Um, because like my dog walking is really like my bread and butter. That's my
Oh,
Monday through Sunday
oh. So
all
you
year.
so
So
you
like
have a
that's what
lot.
I was doing today. Like I was out dog walking today. Like I do that and then I have virtual coaching clients and I
Yeah.
um take care of a family. I'm like a secondary caregiver to a disabled family member, so I'm going all the time, but it's like it's with good stuff. So I
Mm,
can't like I just try to stay grateful and grounded. Like my legs operate to be able to help a lot of other people, so there's
yeah.
reasons to be strong.
How's the dogs? How do you like deal with the dogs, and do
Oh,
you
they're
have
good.
dogs and stuff like that? You
Yeah,
have
yeah. One of them like walked around a second ago. They're
oh,
no, yeah. I have two dogs. I've had one for a year and I've had the other one
yeah.
for like 6.5 years. They're very well behaved. They're lucky. They get to come to, I pick up my keys and get ready to go to the door. They think, oh, they're like, we're going somewhere because they're
Yeah.
integrated with all the dogs I walk. So I basically like, I go and I pick up the dogs and I take them for a walk, or sometimes I have to go like multiple times a day. Like I have like a set group of clients that I've had for a number of years that,
Right.
because like 4 years ago I started, that was like when I went full time by myself. Like I used to work in group homes. I have like
Yeah.
my professional background, which is like where you
Kids
were
group
mentioning
home,
like
like boys group
um
homes and stuff like that.
yeah,
Or
well, like a mix. I mean, I could talk about that too. Um that was like so I mean the dogs is what I do now. And then yeah, so my professional background prior to really like all of this was working in mental health. I worked in a variety of roles as I went through the field. It was always kind of similar, like the skills I had built on one another. I started out with kids working in, it was like an internship.
yeah.
So I started working in like a group home with all girls. And
No.
that was like their house, man. That was I mean they were cool. They were going through stuff. I mean they were kids involved with the state, so they were never in like a nice situation. So I didn't expect them to behave a certain way.
Right.
So some of it was, there were tough days, but like there were like a lot of good days too. It kept me on my toes. I learned a lot about myself for sure,
Yeah.
and like my patience and just about people. And then the good part of that too was I would run into a lot of them in the community on the outside, like years later, and when they were adults, or like, like young adults, like in their 20s and stuff, and they were fine. Like they were cool. Like they made it. Like that was like, I'm like, it's good to see you like this.
Yeah. Like we.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like, I don't know, the group homes too, it was always such a small space. It was never really like conducive. A lot of them
Yeah.
weren't conducive towards like I don't know, like a group of teenagers. I mean, teenagers have it
Yeah.
tough enough, let alone like putting them in like a cramped space.
Yeah.
Some of the kids I worked with were actually coming out of like a mental hospital. There was like it was like what you call like a step down unit. But then I stopped working with the kids. That was just kind of tough because it was the system. The system was like I wanted to be able to be in a less clinical role for the kids, I guess. Like that was
Right.
just tough with kids. But the kids though, I started learning a lot of like group therapy, and that was where I got introduced to what's called like trauma informed care, which is basically just like I feel like more of an understanding point of view of things sometimes, where it's, the bigger question was like not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you. So
Right.
it was nice to teach the kids to actually, because they actually learned like coping skills they could take and actually like function a little bit in society with. Like they, tell me they avoided like a fight at school or something because they're like, hey, that one thing you said kind of clicked a little bit. I was like, oh, that's good.
What
So
made
that
you
was
want?
like little moments like that were good. What was
What?
that?
What? No. What made you wanted to do that? Like to help people, like and stuff.
Well, definitely because I have disabled siblings, so definitely just the concept of like helping people was a big deal. But then I got into group homes in particular because I started a psych degree. Um, well, I got into psychology because my work history before that, I was a caregiver. I have a disabled family member, so I always took care of people in their homes. That was what I did. I was pre-med in school. I was almost done. Had a weird observation experience at a doctor's office where it was actually at like a pain management clinic with a patient I was taking care of, and I was watching her doctor interact with a pharmaceutical rep at the time, and it just weirded me out, disgusted me. It was just really weird. The doctor didn't do anything wrong per se, but it was just like, I was like, the vibe is so off. And then lo and behold, like all that stuff about like opioids and all that like has come out years and years later, but it was like all around that theme of stuff. So like the weird vibes, I picked up on them a long time ago. So I backed out of being pre-med and I got my psych degree. And then when I was working on my psych degree, which was like I immediately left being pre-med and I changed my major and I went to get my psych degree. Like that was just I have my own mental health history, so that was kind of like an easy transition into saying, hey, I still want to help people, but I don't want to pursue being a doctor. I don't want to pursue being a medical professional. So I was definitely put in a role where I was able to help people more so. So it shifted from like medically wanting to take care of people into just like a little, I feel like taking care of the mental health part was more holistic a little bit.
Yeah.
But then in school, I had to take an internship, and the internship that was available was working at a group home with kids.
Yeah.
So then I just started working in group homes. But then I eventually started working with adults and doing like outreach work, and I helped run a group home for a while. And then eventually state policies changed a little bit, so it
Right.
shifted my job role enough where like I was going to need to go back to school or something like that. So I decided it was time to just work for myself when I started my dog walking business
Yeah.
because I also had years of dog experience. Like in high school, I volunteered at the animal shelter, so it
Yeah.
was, and
You
I
do
always
a
loved
lot.
dogs. Yeah, I always have done a lot. Like part of it was like running from my problems, like staying busy is a really easy way to do that. But then it's
Right.
like the flip side is also like I've had a lot of experiences that weren't like bad, it paid off. So I have like, you know, like I have extensive work experience and just like life experience. I've been uh put in situations with a lot of practical life experience, I guess, where it's all
Mm.
kind of meshed together and become useful. So I'm not mad about it today, but like I definitely could have chilled the fuck out at the same time too.
Yeah.
So if I like have any chance to tell people to do something differently, it's just kind of like, I don't know, live in the moment a little more. Like I was always on the go. I didn't really like savor as much as I
Well,
could,
you have
but
some comments.
yeah.
Rolando G. Laura wanted to ask you, do you have a fellow female bodybuilder that you
Um,
look to for inspiration?
At this point in time, like absolutely, I have to like give. I mean, there's different types of inspiration I have been able to grasp where I have had very close friends, being specifically my friend Shari and my friend Heidi Orlando. They're both IFBB pros who I had a really wonderful opportunity to spend a week with in Reno, Nevada when we all competed at the Legion Sports Festival, and they just got in my head in the best way where they were like my bodybuilding moms. They were able to like really like um per on a personal level truly affect me. But just in terms of like general inspiration of looking towards somebody who I like want to be like, I think like Anastasia, the women's physique competitor, who was like 2016, I think, Olympian
I'm
maybe.
just starting to know their names. I mean, it's a
She
lot
doesn't
of
come.
women.
She's not on stage any longer. She might be
Okay.
making her comeback, maybe, if I'm remembering correctly. But like also a little scatterbrained. I don't follow anybody like super closely. I still feel because like even myself, I still kind of feel like a baby in the sport where I'm
Right.
starting now. I'm really
How long
starting
you
to
been
learn
How
people's
long you
names.
been doing it? I'm sorry. How long you
So
been?
I've been competing for since 2017, but like
Okay.
was like just dropped into it. Like I had no background in lifting at all. I kind of just like I want to say really in the last like year have started paying attention to things more competitively because that was when I
Mm.
transitioned to NPC too. So like that was when I was making a decision in my bodybuilding career to like say like yeah, I want to try to get on the Olympia stage. That's my goal. My goal is the Olympia stage at some point to try,
Right.
you know, to be competitive. So last year I spent a lot of time kind of like I've invested a lot more time in myself, but I mean even just like backing like currently my favorite just going back to even just like the Arnold weekend, my personal favorite is Rayani Fogel. Like I just absolutely like love her look, her physique. I wish Issa, the winner of last year, was on stage this weekend. I think that the outcome would have been a lot different if she was up there for comparison. Um, but just like those those physiques right now are really fucking nice to me. Like the same thing with like Franciella, who just won the Olympia for some inspiration too, because I think of what to look like on stage, not for my off-season body. Like I actually like just like love my off-season body. Like I don't need anybody for inspiration for that, but for like trying to be competitive in the parts of myself and like posing wise and stuff, I
Right.
really those three in particular, Rayani, Franciella, and whoever else I just named, my goldfish brain. But like, I do really look up to them for like their conditioning, their poise on stage. Oh, and Issa. Like they're the best. So I mean, it's hard to say like. I mean, even oh God, I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I follow a whole bunch of girls and I really just like watch them. Somebody even I try to cross over from different divisions. Like I really follow like a ton of people, man, to try
Yeah,
to just
it's hard for
watch.
you to
And I
like
try to
go to
just like
the.
I try to like watch and study and just kind of soak them up. So like I'm so kind of like a squirrel sometimes where I'm like, ooh, something shiny. Like I'll get a little
Yeah.
distracted. I don't like I really don't follow one person. I'm kind of guilty of that, I guess. But I guess more like you said, like you're still kind of like just learning the names and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm really just getting good at it. Another one who's been like a really, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, some that really do come to mind. Somebody that has just really made an impact on my state of mind was Shelby Talon. She won nationals. She won the overall for the wellness division and took home her IFBB pro card. And kind of on a
Okay.
whim, I went down to nationals, which was like a flight to Orlando. I had to, I coming out of my competition season didn't really have like a lot of financial resources after doing three shows. Was mentally cashed out, so like was definitely not planning to compete, but like qualified for nationals. Like I could have been on that stage, but I was looking at the caliber of girls and like I just remember following Shelby for a while because I followed her coach, who's also her boyfriend. Um, for a bit. Like I just after like just you say like you start learning names and you just kind of add people on social media, whatever. But
Yeah.
seeing Shelby on stage made me not regret one bit paying for those VIP seats, like VIP all the way, and like something I'm so glad I did because like seeing something up on stage live versus watching it on a screen just is so different. So seeing Shelby's kind of journey like over the course of like her earning her pro card made it feel feasible, but then also like the hard work stuck out because like how she looked on stage, but then also getting to pick her brain a little bit later, um, really just like it gives you like a good depth of like inspiration for like okay, like it lets you dig when you actually start fathoming how deep you need to dig in after seeing somebody on stage and doing it. Um, it's kind of cool to have the feeling of like, all right, I can fucking do this, and it actually feels realistic. Like you're not talking yourself into a place of like you're being dumb. So like a pro card this year feels feasible for me. Like I feel like I've matured into the sport at a point where it's like, yeah, no, I check the boxes. Like I follow my meal plan. I do what I need to do. I listen to my coach. Like I can like, yeah, I can totally fuck. Like it doesn't feel one bit out of reach. So Shelby really kind of helped with that. That was Shelby Talon, Talon, if anybody goes and looks her up on state on like Instagram. And then another one too that I've really enjoyed kind of chit-chatting with is a little bit Nicole the Swole. She's another IFBB pro who's making her pro
Yeah,
debut and
yeah, I know. Yeah,
I
she
want to
looked
say
like
like 12 or
Pocahontas a little
13
bit.
weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I seen
I
that. Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if it's the same one I'm thinking about. She's like got like light brown hair and wears glasses.
She's Asian looking. Is she Asian looking?
No, 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 not at all. No, she's very like white girl
I
looking,
don't
like
know.
more than me even. No, but
Nah, I don't.
she's just kind of like somebody, I follow on Instagram. She's from, I think,
Yeah,
Virginia or Texas maybe, but she was just like another person who I just kind of picked her brain a little bit, and she's been like kind of a good source of inspiration a little bit. But it's like, you don't really need big ass names to have people be like really impactful on your
right.
somebody can kind of be like have no so I think it just, there doesn't have to be like a huge following for somebody to impact you or be your inspiration by any means.
Yeah, yeah. I know that, like the women, they don't really like from other divisions. It seems like to me that they don't really like pay attention to the other divisions
I mean, I pay
like
attention to every.
bodybuilding or
Oh no, I pay attention to
yeah,
every division. I try to.
yeah,
No, I definitely follow the sport. Like I was thinking about that today. I was like, I don't give a shit about the Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about, but I used to. I used to like watch, I'd watch like sports pretty avidly, but then like now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm just consumed by this. Like I eat this shit up like it's the only thing in existence on TV. Like it's like the Hunger Games or something like that, and you live in one of those weird
yeah.
places where you're only allowed to watch certain streams of
Did you ever
information.
watched it
Like
before?
that's all
Like
I pay
before you?
attention to. No, not at all. I would gawk at it, I'd be like, what
Oh,
is this? Like I'd probably like tune it out more so. Um,
no.
no, but I mean, I like to follow all the divisions. I really like understanding it. I think part of me is I've done multiple divisions. Like I started in figure. I did women's physique for a number of years and actually earned my pro card in a in
Oh, you
OCB
got
in
your
one of
pro card. You
so
got your pro card.
in the drug, yeah, it was in one of the drug tested federations,
Oh,
OCB, which is
oh,
like, so I did that for like, I was in that federation for like 4 years. It was a lot of fun.
okay,
I traveled, I won some money, I did different
okay.
shows, I went around the country with my friends, and now I'm doing NPC. So it's been like that's offered other fun experiences, and now I want my pro card in IFBB.
Uh, okay. I'm
So
trying
it's
to
like,
like
yeah, body,
understand. You said I'm
yeah,
like
there's different
you
federations.
before
I mean, there's,
NPC. You was in you're in NPC now, but before
yeah,
that you
so,
was
and
in
then OCB.
OCB. Nah, I don't think I
Yeah.
ever heard of that one. I don't think I ever heard.
It's one of the drug tested federations, so it's just,
It's natural bodybuilding.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what I just looked at it as natural bodybuilding. I didn't know that was the
So
federation name.
I guess like the difference when you hear something say like natural bodybuilding is typically like those federations will drug test their well, like they'll do it for integrity purposes, like they'll, but like,
Oh,
so
okay.
when people say drug tested too, though, I mean, even women on like hormone replacement therapy can't compete in the drug tested federations because sometimes even some like doctor prescribed medications for when you actually, like, I don't know, people in their 40s and 50s more commonly will have just like hormone levels drop and stuff, like those medications can get you just not qualify you to compete in the natural organization because there's
Oh, okay.
some pharmaceutical grade stuff that people will use in like, NPC, IFBB, whatever. That's just like the um difference, I guess. But yeah, so like OCB and some of the natural federations will drug test and polygraph.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Well,
like
you
some
have
that
other
like that was the
comments
difference.
of
Yeah.
all the Raised George page. He's another person that makes content of female bodybuilders and
Okay.
MMA. Yeah, you and him
Oh
would be a
yeah.
good match to talk because
I'm all over the place. I
you
think I
guys
can
could
get
go
along
at
with
it.
about any human on
And
the planet. I
he
used to
says,
follow
do
MMA
you
a little
stay
bit.
in contact with the kids? Do you stay
No,
in
I don't stay
contact
in
with the
contact.
kids?
No, none of the kids that I don't
And
stay
you
in contact with
also,
any of the kids that I worked with. Just be like the kids that I worked with. Was that right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I don't stay in
Do
contact
you
with any
stay in
of them.
contact with the
No,
kids?
just because I was in a clinical position for them, like I was therapeutic support. So once they kind of left, they were happy to never see those people again. So usually my parting words were like, glad
Yeah,
you're going home. Hope to never, like, obviously hope to never see you again. That was kind of the mantra. But like, just because some of them live like in
yeah.
the same, I live in the same like cities and like areas as them, like I'd run into them at the mall or sometimes just like going to the convenience store, which is fine. It's just sort of like the rule with that was like I would never engage them just because it's their privacy. It's like HIPAA. It's like HIPAA rules. Um,
Right.
and then just uh none of them have ever socially crossed paths with me, so I guess I've never like
uh,
been put in that situation. But
yeah, I
there,
mean,
there's
I mean,
one,
it's like
there's
that.
one, there's one I'm cool with on social media who like I've given some like just
Yeah.
advice to with like, but with fitness more so, not anything to do with her personal life. Her personal life is her business now, but she ended up having kids with somebody I just knew through a mutual like social circle. So that's like the
Okay.
closest thing. But
I
she
mean,
was always cool too. Like
yeah,
there was no weirdness there. Like there was no, but I don't
yeah,
know. I didn't have any, there was no, it was kind of like status quo normal relationships. Like I would just go to work and I would I would do what I could do for the kids and then they, I left cool. I was always on like pretty cool terms with everybody. I mean, I'm like the second oldest of six kids too, so in terms of me being like big
yeah,
sister, auntie, or like helping run a household, like that type of things, I tried to make it as homey for them as possible. So
yeah.
like any of them that I've had contact with, usually just through like randomly running into them in public after, was like
Uh,
positive, which was nice. It was never like a
what,
oh this bitch.
yeah, what do your siblings think about you working out, being a bodybuilder, or do they don't
Oh, I
care
always just
or
I no, they're supportive. My sisters, when they
okay,
like, as we've all gotten older, like now my sisters have like more kids, or my other sister has a son now too, like a baby. So it's as like their families have grown, they're not at my shows as much, but my shows have also been further away. But no, everybody's supportive. It's actually been like, oh, it's given me a chance to like. It took time. It took time. Like over the years, like. Um, I think initially, like, so for like the first year I competed, my sisters were always cool with it. They've always like my sisters and I are very close. Like they were always supportive. My mom was indifferent to it, but I think she kind of saw through my bullshit because like my first prep, I just didn't know what I was getting into. So like I lied to my coach. I wasn't really behaving on my food. I was all over the place, and like my mom could see the kind of like I wasn't doing anything like bad, but she was like, what is going on with you? Like something was off. Like I wasn't doing like I was all over the place. I think I didn't know what the fuck
yeah,
I was doing. So I actually came in dead last my first show too. Surprise, surprise. But like lo and behold, I loved it. Like I loved the stage. I loved the whole experience, like getting dolled up, getting my hair done, the tan, like all of it. I was all about it, even losing. But like as time
yeah,
went on and I took it more seriously, my family took it more seriously because I was able to like instead of being like a caged animal when they're like, "Why are you doing this?" I'm like, initially I was like, I don't know, because like I was bullshitting my way through everything, but then as I got less like a dumbass and like actually spoke to my coach how I was talked to my coach, because then I won my next show. Like I actually like put my NSL when I took it
yeah.
seriously, my
That's
family
good.
took it seriously. So I think for the last like that's been like the last like that show that I won was like that was a long prep. So I'd say that's like the last like 5 years. My family's like they respect what I do. My mom watches my dogs for me. She's always really supportive. Like they still have family dinners and I joke with like, they know if I yell at the food, it's not they just kind of like are like whatever. But they're good though. They're very supportive. It's nice to have like them in the background. My nephews think it's so cool. Like my oldest nephew thinks he always told people I could like lift cars. And I don't know what's better than when like kids think something's cool. Like they're like, yeah, she's like a superhero. I'm like, my heart. Part. That was always really nice. So like the fact that like or like I think like some things that hit home harder are like my when like you get messages or something from like which is like somebody I went to high school with and like kind of grew up with. She's like, I was scrolling through my feed and my 5-year-old daughter saw you flexing and she stopped me and she was like, Mommy, it's a superhero. I'm like, like 5-year-old girls look at me and think like, oh my God, she's like like the fact that they might think I look like that strong princess in the movie or something. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's fucking badass. That's so cool. So that
the
always has
viewers
like
on
elevated me.
your
Oh,
Instagram
you like
page
what?
to see. Hold on for a second. Yeah, uh, you see this? You
I
see?
can't see whatever you're doing. What are you trying to show me something?
Oh, okay. I gotta bring it to this. Okay, I gotta
Yeah,
bring
no,
it.
I can't
Okay,
see it.
I'm
I
trying
did
to. I'm
hit like
learning how to
accept.
do this thing. I don't know.
No, it's cool. Is it like in the chat or something? No.
I'm trying to show the viewers the screen and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta. I don't know. Like
Which one is it? I'll know. I'll probably know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's
Oh no, did he go away?
I'm gonna leave that alone for yeah,
You'll
but you
figure
have
it out.
some
It's okay.
comments. Yeah, some comments. My boy George, he's
Hmm.
okay. No, he did this already. I can understand taking care of someone. Yeah, he took care of his moms and stuff. Good morning,
Oh yeah.
Lawrence Perkins, Miss Lawrence, everyone on the chat. Who else?
No. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Children
George
love
says
superheroes.
children love
I mean, I
superheroes.
honestly think like I'm not religious, but I think we get better by serving others. Like I have gone to a few church services, and that was kind of like one way that I always connected with, though. It was like it feels good to help people feel better about themselves too. So I mean,
Right.
it's kind of healing, right? Like it's good. It was sort of like that
So
reciprocity process.
yeah. So so how long do you think you'll get your pro card? Is it like a long process for
I'm not
you
having a
or
plan B. I'm putting it on like this year. I mean, it should be my next show. If I mean, so I guess like
no?
like being completely realistic, like you don't know who's gonna show up to a show, but I think like
Yeah.
I mean, like, really though, based off my feedback and like I spoke to judges on the East Coast and the West Coast, like I felt like that was really cool to have that
Right.
opportunity last year where like my feedback was very consistent. I placed very consistently, like I'm pursuing the wellness division, so like I placed very consistently across the board with that. I mean, the one thing I really need to do is just like nail my conditioning, which my coach and I just over the years, we have learned what works. So we just pulled the
Yeah.
trigger on the stuff that works, and we're doing it. So I'm hoping my goal would be like for a first this would be my first time on a national stage too, which is definitely like a higher caliber. So I am humbled. Like I'm humbled. I'm so glad I went to nationals in December when it was in Orlando. Just because there were 74 girls there. And like there's always like at any show like there's the chance of some people like not looking completely prepared to be on stage, but like a big number of those girls were very well prepared to be there because national stage, you know what I mean? That's not the small regional show. Those are all the girls that won their regional shows. So
Right.
um I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'd love to win top two in their class, get pro cards. So depending on how big of a show it is, I mean, there's usually I'd want to say at least like three classes, like A, B, C. I mean, I think Universe. I'm targeting Universe in Teaneck, New Jersey, June 30th. That's my target. Like that can be a I honestly don't know how popular those shows are. So I'm just bringing my fucking best. And I really just
Right.
want to show the judges. I just really want to show the judges. So, like, I mean, like, I naturally back away from comparing myself to anybody. I'm just gonna bring my best. And if I'm not ready, like, I won't get on stage. If my coach and I are looking at myself, like, I'll just uh like respectfully bow down just to not like uh rush the process because like I don't know,
Right.
you get to a point you live and learn, you kind of like know what you can pull off realistically in a length of time. So I mean for a first national show, like winning would be fucking sweet. Like winning my pro card would be
Yeah.
superb. That's my goal. That is my goal. My goal is to pull my shit all the way together so I'm not dealing with my bullshit and I am just like in a good spot. Like right now I feel like I'm in a good spot. As everything's sort of like coming together over the week as the weeks go, like I'm really happy with what's happening. But like even realistically, I think for like just even anybody placing top five in a your first national show in your class is a huge accomplishment. So just getting up there, huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Getting top five in my class would be fucking sweet. So even just like I feel like get the girls that get like first call outs too, like that's gotta feel fucking nice. So but like I don't have a plan B. I'm not giving myself a plan B. I'm just making this let's fucking win it and then let's start planning a pro debut.
What you got to improve? What are some of the
So I think for myself, the biggest deal was like just really conditioning. I need to be leaner. I need to be leaner. And my biggest barrier with that was food compliancy.
yeah?
So just,
How do you?
but then backing up even more, like my food compliancy is connected to my stress management. So
Right.
I'm really making sure I'm on top of my stress management, which is controlling my reactions to anything I have control over. So if I don't have control over it, I'm trying not to waste my energy over it. So like the weather today, I really wanted to cry and scream and cancel this interview, but I took I took a deep breath. I took a deep breath. I'm like, I can't
Oh boy.
um it's
Yeah.
just it's a
Yeah.
lot. Some days are a lot, but like
Yeah.
we do our best.
Yeah, I mean, like I had yesterday. I was supposed to interview somebody, and they ain't show up. So I don't know. It's like I'm kind of getting used to it now. Like
I'm like in
if
general
if the
good. I mean,
person.
you got to say I've been good about communicating though. I haven't like
No,
left you
yeah,
hanging. I've
I
tried to
give you
like,
that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah, I
no, I
appreciate
try
that
to.
because we was talking. I think like I text
It's
you
been a long
like in
time.
December, like around
Yeah,
Christmas. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So it was like, but I had other interviews and stuff like that. But and I would check up on you and hey, you want to do this? You want to do it? You don't want to do it? I said okay.
I just
I didn't
try to
want to
be
bug.
realistic with my schedule. I try to be realistic with my
Yeah,
schedule because I
you
do have
explain
like,
it to me. You explain it to me. It's just that
yeah,
a lot of people sometimes they don't tell you like what's going on with them. They just say, I can't
people
do it
just
tonight.
like, I don't know. I mean, my only comment about things like that though is like one of my, like any of my clients who I coach will know, like they'll tell you, like
Yeah,
my mantra is how we do anything is how you do everything. So people who, excuse me, people who do that to more people than just you. And that never shows well. Like those are the people who like that's why there's a no-show fee for people. Like so for instance, like I love getting my lashes done. That's like a self-care thing. I go every week. I love my lash girl. She puts up with me. I have like an intense personality sometimes and she puts up with she's great. I love her. And there was one day I really didn't feel good and I woke up late and I missed my appointment with her and it was her day off and she had planned extra to come in and she absolutely was going to charge me that no-show fee no matter what the circumstances were. And I'm like, you know what? Some motherfuckers like those people who just don't show up because there's other shit they don't show up for and it
yeah,
affects everybody else. So I paid my money and I tipped her extra for her frustrations because people are so I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I think that's just a level of integrity. I don't know. I try to at least be
yeah,
accountable where I can. And I don't know. I don't know because people who do that, people who just
yeah. You
ghost,
all right? Oh,
they ghost when they date. But you know what? Usually they can't face something within themselves. So I'm like, you have fun living with that. That's not my problem. Thank you for removing yourself from my scenario. Like, whatever. drink my diet soda and
yeah.
just carry on. Fine.
I think it's yeah, yeah. I just think it's motivation, but it is what it is. I mean, like the way you deal with different mentalities of people, like the there's a lot of stuff that I seen you do, like you do like traumatic there's something about traumatic trauma. Like,
I have like a background in the trauma informed care, which is basically
yeah,
the modality I was trained in for when I was doing more like in the moment therapy or like some group
yeah,
therapy. I did a lot of group therapy actually. That was fun. Um, but that's really just like basically any type of it's processing change. So like especially when I was working in the group homes, like there was a lot of transition, a lot of like
yeah,
loss of freedom, especially a lot of loss of just like basic life things. Like kids couldn't go get an apple themselves. They had to be segregated for the most part. They had a lot of rules. It was very much like being in like a locked unit, like a little bit, like a lot of things were locked up just because of like chemicals and like it was like rules of the state. So you do your best to make it like homey for the kids, but it
yeah.
was like you really like there's a lot that you couldn't. So a lot of it was processing like in the moment changes, but they were dealing with like life crises that a lot of people like uh would be so far removed from. So like a lot of it was just trying to help them process in the moment, but it like if you talk to any people who like used to work in group homes back in the day, it was like a level system where
I
like you
used to be
mess
in a
up.
group home.
Okay, so like like you mess up one day and then you mess up the next day too. It just kept accumulating, right? Like you just
Yeah,
keep getting in trouble and it would like you'd basically be grounded for weeks. You could just like lose privileges for a long time because it was just like
did I ever
that was
dealt
like
with that?
like I don't know, a lot of places use level system, but like the
I
kids
live
would
in New York.
basically
That's why I lived in New York, and
okay, like Massachusetts is definitely a little different. Like I have no familiarity with the New York system, so like I can't
yeah,
comment, but like the trauma informed care system though really sought out to like kind of make each day kind of fresh. So like the only time kids wouldn't have new consequences every day was when like if they failed a drug test or something like a little bit more serious,
yeah,
like they could have a couple of days of lost privileges for a few things, but like
right,
in general, they kept them for the most part. There was like, and then they could earn more freedom for like passes with family. It was a lot about like community integration and trying to teach them. A lot of it's like grief processing almost because they lose
right,
so much freedom. Like a lot of people don't appreciate just being able to like go open whatever door they want in their house. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You want to go walk outside. These kids couldn't do that without just like asking. I mean, like, and there were just sometimes too, like they just couldn't for whatever reason, like go outside. Like there just was director was having a bad day or something stupid. Like, I mean, for legal purposes, this is a joke, but like go take your extra walk.
right,
I don't know. There were just times like you need a walk. I don't know, or like I wouldn't be clinical because the girl's talking about wanting to go get pregnant or something. Like,
right,
excuse me, I'm sorry. Like these kids were dealing with like real life shit, but like, I mean, I tried to help them, but the trauma informed care stuff though really just kind of validated like as much loss as I could try to validate for them because and give them a voice to teach them to like advocate, teach a
right,
lot of coping skills, a lot of emotional regulation, being fair to themselves was like huge, teaching them that, trying not to be so like hard on themselves, but then like just like learning community, democracy, like using their voice and advocating for themselves. Some like conflict resolution was really big.
yeah,
So there were some like core values we always like sought out, but I mean it was still like the Wild West though. Like there was kids coming back high. There were kids, you know, they're speaking Spanish and I'm like, oh, don't they like they don't know that the white like I took years of Spanish class. I speak it poorly, but I speak it, okay? Like
yeah,
so they're planning a party, they're getting ready to leave, and I'm like, oh, where's the party? Like they're like, oh, she speaks Spanish. I'm like, mm-hmm. Um, there was just, but so it was like it was still the absolute like Wild West, but the kids, it was. It was
Yeah.
fun for the most part.
Yeah.
And then the trauma, I mean, then the trauma informed care stuff too. I mean, that really, I mean, but that really came in. That was some like crisis moment stuff though. There was definitely times I was mediating with like the ambulance or like kids that were truly in risk of like harming themselves. And then when it's the same thing when I started working with adults, I mean, I worked more with so when I worked with adults, I was working with adults with schizophrenia a
Mm.
lot more. Like they were very chronically ill. Like these were people
Yeah.
who like they absolutely like these were the people like this is why Social Security income exists because these are people who absolutely like there's no way they could hold a job because their job is to make sure they're taking their medication so that they're well enough to exist. Like they have the right to exist, you know what I mean? So, but they were like my favorite to work with. They were a lot of fun, but I was definitely dealing with like a lot more crisis intervention at that point. So I'd say that I did a fair amount of just like more for psychosis, but like yeah, a lot of crisis management.
I guess that's what like you deal with spirituality. Like, would you say that or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely didn't use the spirituality wasn't something that like interplayed with the when I was like in a psych care provider role. I was
yeah,
not using spirituality. I think I wasn't really like studying spirituality as actively then. It was actually like one of my clients I had, she got into Buddhism in prison.
yeah,
And she was in prison for manslaughter. Like she was abused by a longtime boyfriend who she killed and then she was put in jail for. So she served her sentence.
right,
But she practiced Buddhism all through her 11-year sentence. And it was just amazing to me because she was like as much as she had anxiety sometimes, she was a very like present individual. So she was sort of like an extreme. I was like, okay, what a good, like, I know people like you watch jail shows and stuff, and people tend to come out more with like a Bible, you know what I mean? Not Buddhism. So I thought that kind of captured my curiosity. And then I just got more into it, more like I like more into meditation more so. I always practiced yoga and stuff, so I always got that kind of like meditative invitation to come into that kind of like mental
yeah,
space. Like anytime I went to like a yoga class or something, there's always like they always touch on that. But like I actively started meditating during my bodybuilding prep when I actually won my show because I
right,
was getting so driven crazy by my feelings around food
mm,
that I actually started meditating around the food. So when I start going into kind of like a like really fiending for food, like I very simple things, like I was driving myself so crazy. I was like I needed to calm it down, and I actually committed to a meditating practice, and it was successful. So I kind of
right.
stuck with it ever since, and I've just gotten more into it as I've gone. So I've just read more books, and I listening to a lot of like YouTube, and um, I
You
always
ever
listen
heard
to
of
like,
you
oh,
ever
go ahead.
heard of Falun Dafa? Falun Gong, Falun Dafa? It's like a meditation, but it's like spiritual practice, mind,
There's
body, and
so many. There's so
yeah.
many modalities of it. I don't think I've like come across that one specifically
But
because I don't.
this one, it's from China, and it was founded. And right now they persecute them a lot. You know, people that practice it in China
Oh yeah,
and stuff, because the government at one time it was for it, but they wasn't. They wanted to control it mostly, and it was this communist leaders at the time jealousy, and so they
yeah,
would be like incarcerated and all type of stuff. But it was helping people. You know, they would have like sickness, they have illnesses, and
yeah,
the people would get healed by like studying the principles, truthfulness, compassion, forbearance, because that's what it stands for. And so
hmm,
like it would like save the hospital money, because in China, like it's government and
Oh,
stuff
more like
like that. And
Eastern
yeah,
medicine and stuff like that. It's very
yeah,
different. It's very
yeah,
different from the medical model that's practiced in Western
yeah,
medicine. So, oh, speaking
yeah.
of, come here. You were just, you were.
Oh, it's a pretty little dog. What's his
Yeah,
name?
this is Enzo,
Enzo. How you doing, Enzo?
and then you see the
I
second one
remember I
just
had a
barely.
dog. I remember I had a dog like Brief, and I ran away from home and stuff like that when I was 15 years
Right.
old. And so
Yeah.
I kept him in the bathroom, and the
Oh,
dog was freezing. And I didn't want nothing to happen to it. I just put him in the bath in a tub or something, and he kept barking all night and stuff like that. And
yeah. You gotta like entertain them. You can't just put them in
yeah,
a room. They're
yeah.
like
But I
getting
didn't know
fed
any
out.
better.
They're a lot of work.
Yeah,
No, I mean kids.
yeah.
Yeah, kids don't know. They're a lot of work though.
I
That's why I
wouldn't, I
became a
wouldn't be
dog
able to
walker.
take. Yeah, how is that? The dog
It's
walking.
a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work. I like it though. It's definitely like one of those jobs where it's very easy to see the beauty in it because I'm hanging out with
Yeah,
dogs all day. So it's very easy to
yeah,
like but like, I'm dealing with a lot. I have a lot of dog clients who are big dogs and I've just like really learned the hard way. Like I got knocked on my ass. Um, you're taking care of animals, so you're dealing
yeah,
with all of the things that come with that. But it's for the most part, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to really love dogs, but it's a great way to make money, man. It's like what's kind of cool about like around New England though, for some reason, they ship dogs from all over the fucking world here. Like we take
mm,
them from New York, you know what I mean? Like they'll go take the dogs out of the kill shelters there. Um, and from all over the world they bring dogs here, so essentially the dog walking business around, especially where I live, there's no competition. So once my schedule got a little bit maxed out, I've been able to pass along business to other people and they're building their businesses. So and my clients, like I love all of my families I work with, so I think I've gotten really lucky. But every dog walker I see locally, they're pretty fucking, they're pretty happy.
yeah.
It's a really good line of work. So it's definitely not easy. You hear that? They're wrestling in
Yeah,
the background. One of them squeaked. They're okay.
yeah,
So they like just started wrestling like brothers. So they're like getting used to each other still, kind of almost because the puppy's getting bigger, the one that I picked up,
yeah.
and the older one's actually like rough and tumbling for the first time in his life. He's like learning his confidence. So they don't fight. They play wrestle, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. My poor babies are okay. But
They
for
are
work
they
though, it's like
always a
they.
handful?
What's that?
Are they always a handful for you, or like
What's
are
that?
they a lot of trouble, or like
Oh no! Oh, a handful. No, they're not any trouble for me. They're easy. They have like their own behaviors. Obviously, they're very well behaved though. They're used to me. They're good dogs.
no?
And
Okay,
they're integrated with all the dogs that I walk, so they come to work with me most of the day. They get plenty of exercise and stuff. So in terms of like what a dog needs, they're above and beyond. They get everything.
no,
They're
okay,
good. Yeah. Because
okay.
even for them, I mean, I think about like food, you know what I mean? So for bodybuilder mom, I'm like food. So they eat like they get top of the line.
What's your
Make
nutrition
sure their
like?
protein.
Like if you don't mind.
I give them dry food, but then I always liked to personally supplement like eggs and like lean protein. So I'll give them like plain cooked, like I cook all their food. I don't give them like anything
No,
raw, but I
yours, you,
basically the
you.
same things I eat. Like yeah, the
Oh,
vegetables that are safe for them, the chicken, the
yeah,
meat, the eggs that are safe for them. Like I give them all the
yeah.
same stuff. They
Oh,
love it.
okay.
So and
No,
it's like honestly too, it's just like I'll put like some, even like extra virgin olive oil or like macadamia nut oil. It's good for their coat. But I mean, I give them like dog supplements though. Like I don't normally like put like all of the, I mean, like macadamia nut oil is like very expensive, so I'm not putting that on their food. But
Yeah,
they, I like just to keep them healthy, so I make sure they're good. Like I just check over, make sure their coat's like soft and stuff, so they get like plenty of healthy fats and stuff. But not eating too much. Their weight's healthy, so I think I got lucky. My dogs free feed. I don't have to like measure anything for them. They just eat
yeah,
and seem to, they seem to kind of figure it out. So it's good. We try hard over here for a good lifestyle. They're like house cats. They're the most active they've been all day with that like that little 2 minute bout of wrestling that they did. Because in general, I mean, I try to exercise them so they'll sleep all the time.
yeah.
So they're
I'll be
basically
watching like not. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying they're basically like house cats. I try to just keep them
Yeah,
like chill, and they're good. They're pretty accustomed to it, so
I
they're
be
like they're active at 9 o'clock at night. That's don't ask why.
yeah. I be watching like the dogs like on Instagram. They be rustling and stuff like that, and
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah. I don't know the way people like kind of take care of them. They're almost like children and stuff. So
Well, so dogs evolved with people. They like kind of co-evolved with us. Like we domesticated them, so they feed off of us. I've become like pretty attuned to like dog communication. They like people don't commit, I think, enough to communicating with their animals sometimes because the
yeah,
dogs like they do a lot to try to get our attention, and I think people just kind of don't pay attention sometimes. So I don't know. I don't really struggle with them at all.
yeah. Hold on for a second, okay? Yes, I'm on the phone. I'm talking to somebody. Please, okay? I'll be back. I'll finish. Yeah. What you were saying? I'm sorry. I ain't mean.
Oh, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. My eyes just started stinging pretty
Oh,
bad, but
yeah. I noticed you're on TikTok. A lot of times you make videos on posing and stuff like that.
oh, I think that's like my thing almost. Like if I'm doing cardio, I'm doing the chest split, and if I'm like doing anything posing related, it's definitely I mean, oh my God, excuse me, my eyes are stinging so
No
bad.
problem. No problem.
When I no, when I try to like all my content though, like I won't sit down and be like, oh, I'm gonna make content. Like it's almost more like a vlog. Like it's kind of like anything I'm posting is like me practicing my posing, and then I'm just like I'm posting it or making a reel. And I think as I've gone along, I just got a little better at like um making the reels and stuff. So it just but I pose a lot though, so that's definitely not a mistake to be made. I have committed a shitload of time to posing. Um, I mean, that I think is just learning to present your physique its best. So it's one of those things people can't undermine, like the pageantry of bodybuilding, kind of. So I've really
Yeah.
just tried to take to that. Oh, I saw a question, George. I'm doing The Universe, which is another national NPC show. The USA's, I don't know when those are. I want to say those are in July, and nationals are in December. So like, I don't know. My plan is Universe, like one and done. I'm not planning other shows, but I know nationals is in Dallas. So if I don't know, I'm not making plans beyond Universe right now.
Yeah. Oh, I got another question. Are you a personal trainer or you do?
No,
Oh,
no, I'm
okay.
not.
You're just more of a like a like
Makes
the more
posing,
of
do
like
more of the
traumatic.
posing.
Oh, you're a posing coach.
So I do more like
Like
the posing. I mean,
how
so
many?
my thing is like with the life coaching. So like the life coaching, I mean, food has a huge, how you feed yourself has a huge
Yeah,
impact on how you feel. So like when it comes down to like my coaching with people, like um, you know, you need to be consuming food in general. So like, are you
Right.
eating shit food or like bad food? Like our feel we'll eat our feelings essentially. So like how somebody eats tells me so much. As we improve with our like behavior, just how we act, we'll eat
Mm.
better. People usually know what to eat. Like it's not hard to figure out what to eat. Like you can Google that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like for this for somebody starting out with goals, navigating Google, not really hard to do. You can get a baseline anything for free. People's barriers usually comes down to like, it's like, okay, why are you not doing that? So we start tearing that apart more than like um, the food more so. Because even for my competitors, like it comes down so much to like following a plan, following compliancy, following any structure in your life. You have to have great stress management for that. If you have issues at home, you're probably not going to have the mental bandwidth to be prepping for a show.
Right.
So when I consistently see somebody not making any improvements week to week, all right, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Why are you, like, you start kind of hashing it out, and then you learn how much deeper things are for people sometimes where it's so I don't I tread lightly only with saying like I'm not here to like do therapy work, but sometimes just going into some of our baseline day-to-day habits, I teach people how to kind of observe themselves. Like
Right.
oh, I feel like this today. Hey, didn't you eat that yesterday? So like from like, but that's coming off like 'cause I always disclaim like I'm going off of what worked for me and like my experience is more so where I've had a lot of supervised help. And then like I've just like learned like I had an experience one time where like Chinese food made me manic. I
Mm.
legitimately did not sleep for 2 days. Not it's that happening is not out of the question for my mental health where like I might not sleep for a few days. It's rare, but it can happen. So, but I ate Chinese food again and then I didn't sleep for 2 days. I was like, what is
Well, what
this?
did you eat?
But
Was
like
it like steam? Was
it
it steam? Or?
was no, it was the same thing I always ate. I always get like steak teriyaki, rice, chicken fingers. Like I've always liked the same things when I get Chinese food ever since I've been a kid.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably like I was fresh post show, like I was fresh out of a show and like had been dieting for a really long time, but like it was just very interesting to me because it wasn't like a crazy amount of food. I didn't get a headache, which normally if there's like bad preservatives or something like that, like excuse me, like that's a sign like a bad headache is usually a lot of like preservatives, nitrates, and like things like that, or like the MSG. I didn't have a headache. I just got manic. I didn't sleep. I was like,
Yeah, okay.
but like our food though, I mean, if you think about it, like your food affects your blood sugar. So your blood sugar affects your insulin, which affects your mood and things like that. Like you don't have to be a diabetic to be sensitive to like your blood sugars being affected. Most people don't eat in a manner that supports like a steady blood sugar.
Yeah.
Um, so there's just like some basic intake things go a long way. Like a lot of people want to just like we were taught to live in a state of like just diet at 1,000 calories, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like if anything I've learned from bodybuilding, it's like that's not true. That is so not true. A lot of people need a lot more food than they think. So like sometimes just like consulting with somebody on what they ate day to day for a few days can be very telling and like a couple of little suggestions can be very practical and make it a lot easier than trying to frantically Google something to try to figure it out versus I don't know, pick my brain for a few minutes. It's like usually not that serious, honestly.
Right.
Like little things can be a big improvement for people.
As a bodybuilder, like, do you like eat a lot, like, or like other bodybuilders do? Because some of them. Well, I mean, you do wellness,
It
so I
depends
don't
on
know.
it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
I mean, so like and it depends on where somebody's at, like in their off season. I mean, honestly, that's like asking how much I lift. Like, how much do you lift? Like, On what weight? On am I on a Smith machine? Am I on a machine? Am I using dumbbells? Is it banded? Is it cables? Is it not? How many reps am I doing? 'Cause I don't do a one rep max. Like there's so many intricacies to people's diets.
Oh, okay.
I would say like in general, if I have to generalize for women, I eat like average, and when I'm dieting, I do very, very, very well, trial and tested, based on how I feel, based on how my body responds. I do incredibly well with a low carb diet. I do so
Okay.
well. I feel great. My skin gets really happy. I'm calm. I'm calm. When I add, so like I'll still eat like we'll do like refeeds when it's appropriate. So I'll eat like usually we tend to use rice. Like rice is my go-to.
Yeah.
Um, like for like when I need carbs because it's not like I don't do like a true like it's not keto. But like then there's other people though, in contrast to me, like I do very well low carb. I just do. I feel really good. It's how I prefer to diet. I've placed well in shows with it. Um, my like intake amount is, I guess, specific to like my needs. Um, I would say it's average. But then like for other people though, it's so interesting because I feel like it's always so important to mention there's people who like when they diet they eat a ton of like carbs. Like they just do. Like
Yeah.
they're one of those people who like their metabolism is like they're I feel like it's like when you get down to like the body types, like a true mesomorph versus like a true like I think like the skinnier people are ectomorphs, like they have a hard time putting body mass on. They can usually eat, like you can give them a lot of carbs typically, and then someone who's been dieting longer or like someone who's been in the sport longer can typically, if they've done it right, can handle more
Right.
food. I'm a good example where like I'm just getting to a point where I can establish a good baseline because in my off seasons, I was always so unstructured, and just kind of all over the place that like I didn't have a good grip on what was going to help me grow, what was going to help me not carry as much water, what was going to make me sleep well, what's going to be good for my digestion, how many carbs do I actually need, what kind of carbohydrates work best, like what kind of fats constipate me, like things like that. Like what are the best times of day for different kinds of fuel sourcing? I'm just hitting that point in my maturity with like my food recovery more so where I can actually just start getting into those specifics. Like
Right.
I am just beginning to understand. So now I feel like I'll have the pleasure of like really understanding how my body operates in more of like a healthy manner. Because I guess for it, like I'm a good example of like um in my off season, like I love Five Guys. I fucking love a burger and fries so much. But not 5 days a week, Laura. Why 5 days a week? Like, why was I there so
Oh,
often? So for instance, so like I was lucky where like I get like very like watery and not feel good and be like just feel kind of off. And then like, but the repercussion of that is like my body was spending more time recovering from the cheat meal that I was having 5 days a week instead of helping me put on healthy muscle mass.
okay.
When my body is in a state of recovering from the crap food I was eating, I wasn't growing very much. So I really had to like that was a big teller of like I had to get my shit together for the food, which just happened like the beginning of last year. I stopped eating so much Five Guys.
Mm.
This
I
year was
never
the
had
first.
their food.
They're I don't it's good. I mean it's good. There's a lot of like it's I guess one of the burger places that's like closer to me. Like
Yeah.
there's other burger places that are local, but like at like local spots, like I don't want to get a
Yeah.
burger. I get like I live like there's a ton of good seafood around me and I love steak. When I want a burger and I think it's their fries, honestly. Like their fries are really good. I think it's they're like the potato cut. They're
Yeah.
usually like they're real good. So I think that's why I go.
I
But
don't
the
eat. I
burgers are
don't.
decent.
Yeah. I don't eat like fast food that much. I think like the only connection with fast food, I just worked there. That was it, and I hated it.
It's not a bad problem. I mean, it was probably a good thing to work there because now you avoid it. Like you're
Yeah.
just like,
but the thing is, it would be like a lot of people. Like I work at McDonald's, and a lot of
Yeah.
people would come in every day, like the same people. Some
Yeah.
at times, and sometimes the kids
Yeah.
too.
And it's just like it's a lifestyle for some people, man. And it's like it's one of those things where like the 7-Eleven I love to like I go to a 7-Eleven almost every day because I go
Yeah,
get like my energy drinks and like a
yeah,
Gatorade and I see yeah, but like the McDonald's smells real good though. Those fries smell real good. Like it's almost like
yeah.
a
They
sensory
good.
thing. But like
Yeah,
in terms of like eating it though, like once in like I think like 3 years ago I wanted something from there and I was just like I ate it and I got real sick. I just because I don't eat like that, but like your body will survive off whatever you put in it. Like our bodies are
yeah,
pretty amazing. So when people like so when it comes to trying to like accomplish something in bodybuilding, I'm like I can do it because like I put it through so much shit before. I'm like I can do this. It's better for me.
yeah. What
Um,
when you like you said like you weren't when you first started you wasn't motivated. I think you like I
I
don't
was
know.
just like I think it was like I think I presented more prepared mentally than I actually was, where
Yeah,
because I was lying, like I was lying to my coach about like what I was actually eating. I knew what I was supposed to be eating, but I lied. I just lied, I lied. And
why you
like
do that? Why did you do that?
well, one big part of it was is I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I just didn't understand. I didn't understand. So like when I see first time competitors sometimes and they just look horrifically unprepared, I'm like, that was me. That
Yeah,
was me, my first show day. But you know what? My first show, I was the first one in the parking lot that morning before any of the vendors. I was there at 6:30 in the morning, but I rolled up smoking a Marlboro Red, like what now, guys? Like, I didn't have a clue. I was eating candy the day before the show. My coach didn't think I was even going to show up. That's how bad I was. Like, that's how he knew better based off my behavior that something was up, but I always lied. I always had an answer. I would do extra cardio, something to try to like 'cause I still lost weight. Like I think I still lost like 20 pounds, but it was very completely crash dieted. I was so unhealthy. I was very sick. Like I was just very sick in like the bulimia sense. Like I was very sick. I was not anything that I wasn't supposed to eat was coming back up. So I was putting my body through absolute hell. And I lost, and it was obvious to me why. Like after the fact, like I immediately walking off stage understood why. So I had like dieted from like March to June of 2017 and then it got even worse like after the show to the point that like I was doing a no show to my coach. He actually dropped me as a client. He was like, I'm done. Like, no, like I don't even know what's going on with you. Like you're not showing up, you're not doing check-ins. I don't know what's going on with you. Like just I'm taking you off my schedule. So
mm,
I just got like worse and worse. And then, but then eventually, like, I left a bad situation I was in and got just more focused on getting better. But like, a big part of that was I called my coach and I was like, will you take me back? And he took me back.
yeah,
So from like March 2018, we've been consistent. So we had like a 6, 7 month gap in between when we first started, but like we've been
yeah.
consistent ever since. And there's no person who knows me better or my bullshit better than him.
Oh,
He's
that's the only coach you had, or
That's the only coach I've ever had, you know, and like I think
okay,
that's something that's been very unique for my
yeah,
bodybuilding journey in particular is like a lot of people, not even for bad reasons sometimes, but people just don't always get to have the same coach.
right,
Sometimes they use different people virtually or they have there's just so many reasons. Like there's not even like bad reasons or bad
yeah,
sometimes it's bad coaching. But like I feel very grateful to have always had the same person by my side because you'll see people talk about too, like there's just such a value in having that continuity of you in your journey when somebody understands you like hell or high water. Because I mean, we've like been through it too. Like we've had like the hard conversations and stuff too. So like we have built streams of communication. He's put in like hours of time invested into how I operate mentally, physically, spiritually. He's been a great mentor. I've confided, like, there's like, life impacts bodybuilding, so I've ended up going to him with like just like life bullshit, and there's been no other consistent person like that. It's just it's such a good addition. I think some people too, like having it in person, like my gym's 5 minutes from my house, like um, that's also very unique. Some people drive very far to see their coaches, or sometimes they're just online. Um, that's just been like that's been huge because even through COVID and stuff, when the gym was shut down, like we were in contact.
Yeah.
Um,
How you
so
dealt with
he's
COVID and stuff? Like,
um,
it's tough for you, or
that sucked for everybody. I got fat and happy.
oh yeah,
I was living off of like a fried, like this is like magical restaurant that one of my clients owns, that they make this fried chicken sandwich that's just like ridiculous. It's
well, it's
so
like you get
good.
seduced by food, really.
I no, exactly. That's why I meditated it out of my life, because I was like, so
Yeah,
even no, even it's no joke, because even for this prep, so like I like let the food come back in my life like
yeah,
slowly, like I was re-adding food pages, and like kind of like letting myself go there with the food
yeah,
porn, basically. Like I was letting myself go out of a state of abstaining from the food porn, because it was just like I felt like I had a much better mental grip on it. But then, like, when it was coming time to get ready for this prep, I was like, I am not prepared for this.
yeah,
So I started like I deleted every single food page off my Instagram. I got off of Facebook because I was like, that's just like another social media that I have to like pick through food pages. Like I was like, I can't do it.
yeah,
Um, so I just like try to detach as much as possible, because food, no, food's my drug of choice. I have been offered, I've been at so many parties, I've been offered so many substances in my life, and I've always said no. I am 10 out of 10 more interested in eating like 5 burgers than I am about putting something up my nose. Like that
yeah,
has always been it's just it's food was my comfort. Food was a great source of comfort. So it's been like really nice having a much better relationship with it now. Because now I like to eat the good things. I like to eat the clean food. So now if I go have something that's like a little bit more like a cheat meal or something, like it feels more, I appreciate it more. Like it's like you
yeah,
say, like you started off being like, oh, is it gluttony? Like, no, it's sick girl bulimic shit. But like
yeah.
it make it's nice to have it feel like less gluttonous though, because even in
Yeah,
terms of like overeating, you still feel gluttonous, like you feel
yeah.
gross, like you feel very guilt, like there's just so many feelings attached to it. It's like you eat your feelings, so then all of a sudden you're just like, ugh, like in your skin. It's like not a good place to be. And I
George
think that's something,
understands.
and yeah, and it's one of those things too. I think when people are like, oh, but you're so in shape, I go, yeah, but you know what? Like what you look like almost has nothing to do with what you eat sometimes. Like I've learned to control it, but like before I started bodybuilding, nobody would ever look at me and assume I had like all these issues with food, even though like I think some people who cared about me knew I was like throwing it up sometimes and things like that, but I was never, I'm not blaming it on anybody. Like it didn't go under the radar from anybody, but I think if I was like, if I looked different, somebody might have been like, oh, like you should, people would have had more to comment on about it. They're like, oh, but she's
Well,
okay because she's not like, I wasn't ever overweight, but I've had long-term health repercussions because of how I was with food. So I
well,
think
what?
it's one of those things you just can't undermine with people. It's like you never know what people are struggling with in terms of like substances or something. It's like
Yeah,
you just don't know. It has nothing to do with somebody's weight. Just like somebody who's overweight, that doesn't mean they have an issue with overeating. Like
right.
somebody who's not overweight doesn't mean they don't have
Did
absolute shit unhealthy relationship with food.
did you ever like know like the root of it, like why you just like
Yeah, yeah, no, I've definitely like gone into that in therapy a lot. Like
Mm,
when I started going to therapy when I was 11 years old, and I'm still in therapy. And I mean, I'm 33, so I've been going to therapy for 2/3 of my life for different reasons, though, at different times. Like, I dealt with like it was definitely related back to like childhood trauma. I can very vividly remember like my first experience when I like really was looking forward to like a huge food binge. Very,
yeah,
it was like I remember it. But like you know, it's now therapy's focused around like well now actually therapy's focused around like some of the feelings with the food because
right,
I always just dealt with the trauma. I always just dealt with the trauma, but now I'm like trying to treat less of it as like a comfort source. I want to like deal with my feelings. So it also more so because I don't want it to interfere with bodybuilding. So it's like I like the sport enough that it's like it's put good pressure on me to like face the things that I need to deal with to actually be healthier.
yeah,
So it but it's usually the other way around. I feel like more people have like a bodybuilding is like because they hate themselves. So can't speak for anybody, but I've heard more often sometimes where people hear, oh, they did it because they hated something about their body or like this body dysmorphia. I'm like, I love me. I don't know.
can I ask you
I
something? Like,
yeah.
as a bodybuilder, like, do you have like a social life, or you ever had like somebody maybe interested in you?
It lacks. I mean it so I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it because like my thing is from a spiritual standpoint, I sometimes feel off put by some people's energy, and I don't
Right.
like to do that to myself. I actually get like in certain social situations, I actually get physical. I just don't physically feel well. Like I start to feel very off,
Uh,
and I try to honor that feeling. So I don't say that it ever has anything to do with like what the people there being wrong or like the wrong people, but just like I just don't vibe with it. So like I'd never like in my life though, I never really was like I never was big about going to bars, was never really big into that. I was always in like a smaller friend circle. Like I have really close, good friends I've had for a long time, but like I always hung out in like smaller groups. I've always enjoyed that. So like being a little bit of a recluse also isn't so odd. I grew up in a huge family, so like having my peace and quiet, huge.
yeah,
But like when I'm prepping though, like when I'm prepping for my show, yeah, I shut it down. No, I shut it down. Like I have very little desire to be bothered by people for no reason other than just like it's very mentally distracting and then I find it very difficult to like refocus where
yeah,
like so like for instance like being in a relationship versus not being in a relationship when in
right,
bodybuilding prep
right,
vastly different only because like your time and attention out of respect for people needs to be in certain places. So the fact that I work for myself, have complete control over my schedule and like who I have contact with
yeah,
is huge for like my inner peace, basically just for being able to focus on prep. But like with that also being said, I've tried to make it more of a point to be like around the people who I know do vibe with me and do support me. That's not always like bodybuilders. That can be seeing my nephews, seeing my niece, seeing my family, having
yeah,
friends. Like if I have a friend who I haven't feel like I haven't seen in a while, like send them a text. Like maybe we can't get coffee, but like at least reach out. Like I try, like in general, I just try to be more proactive about that because life happens really fast. And then I think like you had mentioned even like COVID too, like how did I handle that? So aside from eating like fried
yeah,
chicken sandwiches, like we all lost like a lot of touch with people. So like yeah, I think my life like shifted a little bit then, but I've tried to get better about it just since then. But like I don't know. I mean, like, I have a lot of personal demands and stuff. So, like, my lack of social life isn't even because of bodybuilding. It's because of like I have personal obligations that I feel
right,
more like is deserving of my time and attention, which does leave less for a social life. But like,
right,
I have, with that also being said, I have very, very close friends who like I do see on a regular basis too. Usually crossing paths at the gym, but still. Like
Okay.
we, but we'll make it a point to see each other. Like I'll make it a point to try to see somebody. There's not enough time for that ev ever, but like I think it's something I have tried to prioritize more as of recently. It's definitely
Okay.
a bigger deal because I just ended prep like the end of October last year and I got incredibly isolated just from life and being deep in prep, but like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to regroup that too. But
Well,
as
that's a
I
lot you told me. I mean, you told me a lot. Like, let me see. Like, yeah, I didn't touch about your workout routine. Like, how's your workout? What do you do like in working out in terms of working out? If I could,
so just being a wellness competitor, I do focus on legs. Like that's a
yeah,
focus. But even in general, like my workout split is pretty basic outside of like I do at least two leg days. Um, one's more focused on quad, one's more focused on hamstrings. Um, I'm always, always mindful of recovery, especially because my schedule is so like I'm just very busy. So if I'm exhausted, like I
yeah,
try not to push the I'll tone my workout down. Like I'll pick like a lighter body part or go in and because I like to go to the gym so I'll gauge it. 'Cause I don't follow like any specific programming or have like this day is chest, this day is that. I
yeah,
do definitely I definitely train upper body. I have like I mean, so even going from having more of like a woman's physique focus to wellness, I've only adjusted that like slightly because, I mean, even if you look at wellness now, like the competitors are they're pretty fucking jacked. Like
yeah, yeah,
they definitely have like the huge legs and glutes, but even their upper body is pretty like, um, they're not flexing, but like if you look at their arms in certain positions, they definitely have nice triceps. Like things like that are definitely awarded. So I was pumped. I was also pumped to see that though, because I mean, like I just have always had arms too. So I'm like, oh, I don't have to like lay off arms. So, I mean, I probably train. I mean, I train everything still. I'm training, but my lower body gets a lot more attention. I've slightly decreased the volume of my chest and bicep training, but other than that, everything is status quo. I go heavy. I want to say like moderately heavy with great form as much as possible. Like, so I do definitely, my working sets have been built up to a pretty heavy weight.
yeah,
But I definitely, I mean, I do a lot to really focus on excellent mind muscle connect and doing things to develop that. Um, I mean, like I get in my poses a lot and study myself to see
right,
what I feel like also needs some attention. So like I'll target it that way. And then so will my coach too. So I'll kind of like mirror what he does in workouts because like I said, I train with him. I train with him in person twice a week. So that's a lot of time getting to actually see me in person that some people only see their coach via, like how you see me right now, like for like a video once a week. So um I always train legs with him. He is uh the all-knowing when it comes to legs. So a lot of it is just following his tempo and it's all very instinctual too. Like he just really gets to know you like via the in-person training. He has a lot of long-time clients, so it's really nice to like I don't even know what I do for weight on some things because he's the one always setting it. So sometimes I have to like you should probably pay the fuck attention.
yeah,
'Cause I get a little spoiled. I feel spoiled at the gym. It's really nice. It's really nice having somebody to like rack the weights for me, somebody who knows what's up, somebody who's just knows, like just knows. So I mean, but also like I train legs twice a week. I do upper body like 2 to 3 times a week. Um, I absolutely prioritize rest too. So like I probably train max 4 to 5 days a week with two of those being legs. And then
Yeah.
I'll always train back and delts. Back day, delt day, and I always hit triceps, basically. It's
Where do
like
you
one,
see
but I don't know.
where do you see body?
Genetically a little. I put muscle on easy too, so I feel like my training split for other people. I don't know. I've never had another coach. I'm so fucking dumb sometimes when it comes. I see other people doing stuff, but I'm like,
Well, maybe that's not a
oh,
bad thing.
maybe
Like
no.
yeah,
No, it's not. It's not. It's like, but it's kind of cool because it's like whatever works, man. Like I'm not gonna knock what somebody's doing if it works great for them because what I do for myself has worked
yeah,
mint. I've like not mad. So yeah, but we lift heavy. Like it's nice. Like I have men come up to us in the gym and be like, that's pretty fuck, like with respect, which is nice because you hear like in culture, you hear a lot about girls having really bad experiences with men in the gym. I
yeah.
have to say, like probably more. My gym in particular is like it's a small hometown gym. It's not a commercial gym. So like it has that vibe, but it's really nice having men who I've never spoken to come up to me out of respect and be like, really nice job. Like when I'm lifting chest. like
Mm.
not traditional female, but like, you don't traditionally go up to a girl on chest day and compliment them. Like that's not the status quo
How
gym
would they do
culture.
it? How would they do it? Cause it's
No,
like
very respectfully. Like they come up and like, like nodding their head, nod of approval, like, hey, that was really nice job. Like that's really
oh,
like,
okay,
yeah, almost like I don't know, like a cool uncle or something, I guess. Like nobody being weird. But
yeah,
it's like it's like guys who've been in the gym since it opened in like 1993. They're like, this is so cool. Like it's great. It
okay.
makes my code. It's nice. It makes me proud. It makes me feel proud to feel more like like I get respected, I guess, over taunted. Like
Oh,
that's not like a flex. I guess that's like something I'm grateful for as a comfort. Like I'm not in the presence
right.
of so many gym dweebs. Like I am in a gym where it's more it's so much more culture to be respected and just not have somebody like bother me. Like if they engage me, it's like, they're saying hi or good job or are you on your last set? Like nobody gives me trouble, which is
All right. I mean,
cool.
cause nowadays, I mean, you already know it's
Oh
like
no, it's awful
there's
what some girls
women,
go through. Yeah, no, I don't but I have to say that I know for a fact like the gym owner and the manager at my gym,
right?
they zero there's just zero tolerance for anything like that. So
That's
it's
good.
yeah, and they're fair, they're fair to members, but they'll have a conversation with anybody if anything's ever been inappropriate. It's never been to me personally. I mean, there's been like I've had very small interactions that were very minor things that I just had to be like, is that person okay? And they're
Right.
like, yeah. This is actually kind of funny. The one thing I did have happen to me is somebody had their dog in the gym one time. So at like 1 in the morning, I'm doing cardio. I have a 24-hour gym and this dog, I like come down from the cardio deck, and this dog runs up to me. I was like, "What the fuck?" And I like dogs, like I love dogs, but I was like not prepared for a dog to come running up to me at 1 in the morning. Like, no way.
Right.
Oh, question: how many of the wellness girls are coming up from physique and figure?
Yeah, many of the
Um,
wellness girls are
I
coming
don't
from
know how
physique.
many are coming up, but like wellness is becoming an
No, he said
incredibly
many. He said no.
Oh, many
He's
of the.
saying
Oh, it's not a
many.
question. Yeah, yeah. No, you're seeing a lot of girls crossing over. I mean, I had never tried wellness.
This is a question. I'm
Gain more
back.
mass. I'm I mean, I'm always looking to like gain size. I think more so on my legs. And my thing with my upper body though is I can't remember who I was explaining this to somebody earlier. They were asking me like what division I chose to go with and like so when I was training, like I was like maxing out my upper body. Like I like training heavy, but like I was getting to a point with my size and my clothes, like I physically was so like I wasn't comfortable. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be like huge and yoked. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But I was physically uncomfortable. So like I think in terms of my upper body, I don't mind like a little bit more mass for
Yeah.
shape because you can get detail without adding so much size, which is more my goal for my upper body at this point. Um, but then like for legs and stuff though, I mean it's wellness, baby. So like I can get those almost as big. I can get those pretty big, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna try to do that at any like a crazy rate, but like in general, like just the way I'm training and eating right now, like I'm growing and it's nice and my upper body will kind of follow suit as well, but I'm not trying to get as big because like I got into a size large in women, like in women's, and then I started wearing I actually started wearing like men's clothes, which I think for me there was nothing wrong with that, but like
Yeah.
I was finding it hard to find clothes that fit my shoulders comfortably. Like I was growing, my lats were growing, I was growing out
Yeah.
of my sport bras and stuff. And like that's fine, but like I was just physically getting uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I just didn't like how I felt. So
You
I
don't
feel
look
better
that.
now. No, I'm not that big. I just didn't like I didn't feel it was just more like I don't know, you know how like you feel in your skin, like it can be like the littlest things.
Yeah,
Like you
it's
can
tight. It's tight.
it was
You
just like
felt
it
tight.
was just how my clothes were fitting. It was like just little
Yeah.
things because I'm
Yeah.
still like I'm still wearing the same clothes basically, but I was
Right.
just kind of starting to like I wasn't like and it was more so when I was like getting into my off season. Like I
Right.
would put muscle mass on and then when the body fat went back on, I was like, "Oh shit." Like I'm pretty it's just like you can't like the body fat was going back on nice, but it was yeah, just like not comfortable. Like I just wanted my clothes to fit a certain way, so it
Do
was
you
more
wear
just about
tight?
how I felt.
Do you wear tight
Sometimes
outfits?
I love no, not really. Like I wear yoga pants, but like mostly I'm in like oversized
Yeah.
stuff. I think some of it's the nature of my job. Like I'm a dog walker, I'm outside, I'm with the dog, so I kind of need like I wear layers and stuff because even if they jump on me, like their claws can get you. Or like it's cold, so I'm in layers. So like the
Yeah.
oversized is comfortable for that. But then even the oversized stuff, like once I'm in prep, I put shorts under my sweatpants. So then when I go to do my cardio, I take my sweatpants off because I get too hot. Like it becomes
Yeah.
this whole like process. Um, and I don't really know what's comfortable for clothes. I've been so detached from the real world in a long, like being my own boss for a long time. Jeans and stuff, I don't wear jeans. If I go,
Mm.
I haven't been to like a fancy event in a long time, so I'd have to like go dress shopping. The last time I did like a photo shoot, my friend was like, "Here, wear this one." I was like, it fit. Luckily, it fit. So like they styled me. Like this is I mean me yoga pants, sweatpants, sweatshirt, comfy.
Yeah.
I do like to dress
Okay.
up though. Like once in a while, I like it. Like I have. I mean, I would, but it's like it's a little foreign to me. Like some people love fashion. For me, I'm like.
Right. So you're
It's
not a
not that I don't
fashion
like it.
person like that?
No,
You,
I'm just think I'm a little more simple. I no, it's I wouldn't even say like overly simple. It's just I have basics. I love black, so I'll usually just like go to that.
yeah.
Sometimes it looks really sleek. Like, wow, Laura, you're real stylish today. It's usually just pretty simple though.
Would
But
you say you like conservative or you cover up or anything like that or
depends on where I'm going. I can be a whole bunch of people depending on the scenario.
oh okay.
I'm not body shy. I mean, like I am very body comfortable. So like if I was going to like some event that I was had the opportunity to dress up like super sexy, I would definitely do it. Like I'm not bodybuilding has absolutely gifted me the ability to be incredibly comfortable in my own skin, mostly thanks to the spray tans.
Yeah. Do you
But
do do,
like oh
do you
god.
do like photo shoots or anything like that? Like and if so like how do you
Not really. Like I haven't.
uh
I have done photo shoots for
yeah,
like I was like for like no I didn't seek them out. Like I had a work opportunity where I was like a part of filming like a project. So
yeah,
for the PR for the project, we did some photo shoots but like I just showed up.
Right.
I've done one photo shoot that I like personally sought out and paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun though. I do enjoy it. I think the limiting factor on that for me has just been like when it comes down to it in prep, it's not like I'm not a super glam person, so the whole effort that it takes to like do a photo shoot, it's like a lot mentally for me to put out. And like when I'm in prep or working or busy, I'm just like I don't have that mental output. So that's like also another thing I'm trying to travel more. I'm trying to do more like photo shoots. Things like that would be fun, but I don't force myself to get like
Yeah.
involved. If,
Yeah, I
but
understand.
but things like that are cool though. Like I think if like when opportunities arise and they align, I've absolutely like sought them out. Like I pursue them. I mean, I
Yeah,
try.
that's
It's
dope.
fun. It's fun.
That's
I love being home. I'm a wicked homebody. I'm pretty like base like my I've accepted like a pretty basic lifestyle and I'm trying to spice it up a little bit, but like
yeah.
still I don't
So in other
force.
words, you're boring. Like if I could say that in a good way.
I mean, depends on who you're fucking talking to, man. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm boring at all, but like
I mean, like not like
we
I mean
can we
like
can
I mean you don't like you're not always with the crowd and stuff like that.
I'm not
You know,
out
it's
causing any trouble, basically.
yeah.
More so, I'd say. I
Yeah.
keep to myself. I have my fun, but I keep to myself. I have my personal life is pretty personal, but like I definitely I enjoy I think it's very important to have the parts of your life that you enjoy and you're passionate about, and I feel
Yeah.
very grateful even to like I have a lifestyle I don't really feel like I ever need to often escape from. Like I run my business, I play with dogs all day long. I have the luxury of dictating my schedule. I get to go to the gym when I fucking please. Um, so it's kind of nice. Like I've gotten on a plane like three, four times in the last like 6 months.
Yeah.
Go. Oh, so yeah, I mean, I like to have like experiences, but I'm not really like out there doing anything.
Right. Right.
So
Well, I mean, I enjoyed talking with you. You know, you said a lot.
yeah, yeah, I know, right? Well, I mean, you waited for a long time for a sit down, so
No,
I
I
felt like it was
appreciate it.
like,
I appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. Oh, so you
No,
got
it was cool. I didn't
somebody
know it was
else?
like I didn't know it was live, so it was cool for just to kind of get that little part of it too at the same time.
Yeah, you are cool for that, Laura. So,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was a long wait, but I guess you know, it was worth it. So, you know,
Yeah, hey, I mean, keep following. Prep literally just started, so it'll just get
yeah.
better.
Did you see any the I think they had like a recent competition where
The
well,
Arnold's,
yeah,
that one,
yeah.
that big one, yeah, that's still happening. That's I think it's going on until tomorrow.
Oh
Or what
yeah,
day is it? I
okay.
don't know. Yeah. It might just be finishing. I can't remember. But I honestly like I follow the wellness division more so, and then I love like open bodybuilding. Those are my favorite divisions, I think. But
Okay. You
the
don't
other,
look
I try to
at
pick.
you look at bikini too, right? Yeah, you say you look at
I
everything.
did I did follow bikini today too. Yeah, I got on
Yeah,
my pedestal about that one too. I
yeah,
do. Yeah, no, I try to follow. I try to just follow them. I think the sport. Yeah, it's just cool to follow. I like all the divisions. I'm a huge fan. Definitely like a sucker for open bodybuilding and
yeah.
wellness for sure. But like
Do you?
I do. I love all the divisions. I can see the beauty in all the divisions. I don't have to participate in all of them to understand
Right,
them. But then also for like a posing aspect, I love like watching and studying and learning. But then also seeing like it's so interesting to watch because people change so much from show to show sometimes, or from
right,
like the Olympia to the Arnold. It's like they all, it's just such a different outcome sometimes. So
right. I mean, but I mean, like you know, there's people that don't look at, you know, I would say bikini. I remember I was talking to somebody and they was like, they don't look at bikini as a sport or anything like that.
I
They
think it
just look at
depends
it
on
as a,
who you. I think it depends on people's
Who,
personal experience with it because like
yeah,
I know bikini competitors that can outlift like a lot of men. Like they're strong ass girls, man. They love to put muscle on, but they're they're these tiny little creatures.
right,
So I think in general it's just like I think it's a tough division because it's they want you like hard but soft. There's like that
right,
very fine line, which I think a lot of people just can't nail, and people will hate on what they don't understand.
right. I
So
mean,
it's kind
I
of like
think
that.
it's
It's
been
like
always
people who
like that.
even like, I don't know. It's just I think people, but to each their own. Everyone's got a division that they love too, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's about it. I don't have any more questions.
No, that's it. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'm about ready for my next meal anyway, so it's good
All
timing.
right. I don't want to hold you up too long. You got one more comment from Rolando. I think Bikini not much a fan. The dieting is still there for the form.
Um, I mean, no, they still have to diet too. I don't know. I mean, I think that still comes, I mean, if I'm reading the
No, he
comments
said the
correctly.
dieting is still there for the form. I think Bikini not much a fan. The dieting is still there for the form. He said he's not that much of a fan, but he sees that the discipline
Oh yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's yeah, but again, just really to each their own because I still like even some of the shows like bikini's kind of the big deal. Wellness is becoming like the bigger deal, I think. Some of the shows like they did away with like figure wasn't even at the Arnold, you know.
George
And then
want
I
to
think
know
like
what's your social media.
I am Laura Cash. So like
Let me try
literally like
one more time.
all one word. Can you put it? Is there a way to like go to the chat?
Yeah.
Chat with everyone. Hold on.
I
Hold on.
want
I
to see
think
if I
I
can
actually
again.
can. Hold on. I'm trying to. Well, I
Let
just sent. It says chat with everyone in the studio, so I just sent my handle,
yeah.
and we'll see if it comes up. Because I only have that my social media handle for that is the same on TikTok and Instagram, and I don't have Facebook right now.
Okay. Damn, this thing acting up on me.
But so my social though
See, I'm
is
trying to use the
like
computer, George.
I am Laura Cash, like the sentence, but all one word. And if you just type in Laura Cash, basically how my name is written, I'll probably come up. But basically, I am Laura Cash. That's all.
Yeah.
IAMLAURACASH. It's pretty simple. So hopefully everyone caught that.
Yeah. Hold on. I think I know how to do this thing. Let me see. Cause it was showing, but let me see.
Oh, that just worked for 1 second. Let me
Okay,
try.
yeah, I got it. Yeah. Oh wow. Hold on.
Oh yeah, there's my post from earlier.
Oh, you see it.
Yeah, I
Hold on.
saw it.
Let me
My
enlarge it a little bit.
my side by side I made from earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a thing. Oh, you see the video, right?
I don't see it right
You
now.
see you
It
flexing?
was a few. No.
Oh,
Can other people see it though?
yeah, I see it.
That's what's more important.
No, I don't even know. I
Oh
really don't
yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. Yep, yep. Now it's
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, like you asking if I dress up once in a while. Like that was the last time I kind of dressed up, but that was like still so simple.
Yeah. You look really, really nice.
Yeah, it was
Let
a
me
piece of
see.
lingerie my
This
ex
is her
bought for
page,
me.
George. I mean, let me see if I could, hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is, yeah, yeah. Yeah, very. You see it,
What's
right?
that? Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. And you have some saying about this that you had one saying about bodybuilding's a short story. When you pour into your own cup, you learn your shape like a could be elaborate.
What was that? That just broke up a
Yeah,
little bit.
it's something like that. You said
Oh,
bodybuilding's a short story. When you pour into your own cup, you learn your shape like a Coke bottle. Be your friend.
oh yeah. I think it's like well, oh, that came from like a conversation with one of my friends where I think a lot of people give over a lot of themselves to people that are not like deserving or reciprocating their energy in a way that leaves yourself being kind of empty. And like the sport taught me to make sure I'm pouring into myself and
Right.
via trying to feel better and then actually doing things in the sport to feel better. Like I got the shape of my body that I've kind of always wanted. So like instead of bothering with people that were bad for me in relationships or
Yeah.
friends that were no good for me or just like not setting boundaries even like the more I've kind of poured into myself, the better I look. So it's like that's the thing with bodybuilding is like the aesthetic is all tied to just kind of like doing a little bit better by yourself usually. If you're doing it right, I think like people can your like your length of participation in the sport will be very short if you're not constantly making sure that you're okay first.
All right. Rolando, he said, I would like to know Laura. You remind me of an actress. I can't think of her. You are very attractive.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Rolando. I'm not here for dating, but I appreciate that very much. It's very kind.
Okay. Well, let me not take too much of your time. I was able to get the IG showing everybody your page, but I really do appreciate you. Finally getting together and talking.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for
All right.
having
But
me.
yeah, I'm gonna be following you. Good luck on your pro card journey, and just
Yeah, thank
hang in
you.
there. If it's not this year, yeah, maybe just keep hanging in there. So.
Hey, there's no
All
plan
right,
B, so
folks.
we're
So,
gonna keep checking all the good boxes.
all right, no problem. And I think he says one thing, just complimenting, no apologies. I mean, something he apologizes if
Okay.
it's.
Oh no, he's all good. All right, I got
All
you.
right.
Just internet.
All right.
Bye.
Let me leave you alone. All right, folks.
Yeah,
Bye.
good night. Take care, everyone.